So we'll get started. Deborah?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deborah Williams, and I'm one of the coalition members for the Freedom Unshackled Coalition. Thank you for being here and welcome. We are very happy. So far, we have 19 people on and other people are coming in. Thank you for being with us this morning. And we are here this morning to talk about clemency. We are very happy to have the people that we have. In a moment, you will hear from members of the Freedom Unshackled Coalition, as well as two local elected officials to talk about both the legislation and what we are proposing. You will hear information about what the background of the issue of clemency, the impact that it has on the individuals, their families, and the community, and what we are asking from the governor and from stakeholders and other organizations in New York State to support us, and how you can support us. So again, we do thank you for being here with us today and urge you to go to our website and to get additional information. And for the press, we do have representative here from the organization. And at the end, we will have a time for questions. We want to remind the speakers that each of you have 2 minutes to speak, and I will gently remind you of that. And so we want to introduce our first speaker, Mark Littlejohn, also a member of the coalition. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this very important conference. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Freedom Unshackled, just give a brief overview of what we do. Freedom Unshackled is a coalition that was founded in March of 2020. Its mission is to address systematic issues in the criminal justice system in the United States. We're a coalition-based organization with members and affiliates from many states around the country. We work with local and state legislators, and state governors around the nation to enact more progressive policies and procedures that benefit incarcerated men and women. Our focus is on encouraging governors to expand their executive clemency powers to increase the number of clemencies granted each year. We are asking for the timely release of elderly persons who are no longer a threat to society. We support fair and timely release for those who have been served for over 25 years, who are no longer considered a threat, addressing sexual assault of incarceration in men and women, and increasing gate fees. We're advocating for many of the people who are currently serving time due to untimely harsh sentences, questionable procedures, and a system that does not protect poor people, and people with past drug laws, which were considered racist in nature. We're also addressing sexual assault in prisons by the employees against those they are supposed to be protecting. Soon we'll be addressing the gate fees of the released populations that are so small that former prisoners are basically doomed to fail, just trying to get home. A couple more things that we're also going to be addressing in the near future. We're committed to advocating for the powerless populations of men and women for a fair chance without prejudice, bias, or preconceived notions within the criminal justice system. We're asking for humane, dignified, rehabilitative treatment, free from assault, and voting rights to be restored. We're also asking for the timely release of elderly persons who are no longer a threat to society. And again, we support fair and timely release for those who served for over 25 years and are no longer considered a threat. We believe these initiatives can be addressed with governors and increased expanding of their executive clemency powers. Thank you. And that's it for me. Next.
Thank you, Mark. Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to have Ronnie Mentor, not only the visionary, but a well of knowledge about these issues. And she's going to talk a lot of details about the issue of clemency. Ronnie?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today at this press conference. I'm Ronnie Mentor. I am the founder of Freedom Unshackled and also Sisters Healing Old Wounds, and I'm also formerly incarcerated. So let's talk about clemency and why we would like the governor to grant clemencies more than just once a year, which he currently does between the week between Christmas and New Year's. That's often when the governors do the clemency. So the executive clemency is at the governor's discretion. There are two types of executive clemencies. One is the pardons and the other is time commutation. The governor has the power to grant clemencies at any time. Currently, the governor grants clemencies only between the week of Christmas and New Year's. We're asking that the governor grants clemencies 4 times a year. Governor Cuomo actually ran on a platform that he would fix the clemency issues within the Department of Corrections and make it a smoother process. This has been a failed experiment of his. Just a little background. Governor Carey issued 155 commutations. Governor Mario Cuomo issued 37 commutations. Governor Pataki issued 32. And at the end of 2019, Governor Cuomo had only shortened 11 sentences. So when we think about time commutation, I just want everyone to understand that this doesn't just automatically allow a person to leave the facility. They still have to go in front of a parole board and present themselves. What it's doing is making them parole eligible. The time computation he also can just say, okay, in this sentence, let the person out. But that's not typically what a governor does. They make them parole eligible. And even in the case of, say, let's example, Judith Clark, she was made parole eligible, and her first parole board she went in front of, she did not make. So she had to wait additional 2 years, I believe it was, and go back in front of the parole board, at which time she was released. So time commutations are something that the governor absolutely has the power to do right now if he wanted to, today. And currently, after talking with the Prisoners Legal Project, there are thousands of applications on the governor's desk. This process is not working. The database that he put in place for the National Defense Attorneys to represent those applicants, the process is absolutely failed. So we're asking the governor to get some of these applications off his desk, to do it 4 times a year. Also, keep in mind that we need to look at this through a racial lens, the injustices that are happening with clemency through a racial lens. More white individuals are getting clemencies, more men. So we're looking for it to be racially balanced, fair, and more women be granted clemencies. So that's our ask, 4 times a year from the governor. Thank you. Deb?
Deb's on mute, but I believe I'm next.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. I don't know, mine would not unmute for a moment. Thank you, Ronnie, for that information. I want to remind people we will have time for questions later. Okay. I want to introduce Lucas Grandis. He has been and continues to be an ally to the Freedom Unshackled Coalition. He is with Vocal New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Good morning, everyone. My name is Luke Grandis. I'm the upstate lead organizer for Vocal New York, standing for voices of community activists and leaders across New York. We are a statewide organization fighting to end mass incarceration, the war on drugs, AIDS, and homelessness. And through our work to end mass incarceration, we fight for many statewide pieces of legislation. We fight for fair and timely parole, elder parole, ending wrongful convictions, for voting rights for people in prison, and many other pieces of legislation to truly bring our family members home who we know deserve to be home and to be given a chance to be reviewed before the parole board, to be given a chance to show the transformation that they've made throughout the years. Our decision to partner with Freedom Unshackled Coalition was simply a no-brainer for us, to be quite honest. Freedom Unshackled's initiatives and goals to truly address the injustice within the justice system truly allows us to push our legislation forward, because we know that any legislation that we pass statewide will not be and do enough if we cannot also use this powerful tool of clemency to complement those pieces of legislation. We need clemency to complement parole reform bills. We need parole reform bills to complement clemency. And we truly need the governor to take that wave of a pen power that he has and put it into action, as Ronnie said, far more than once a year. And so as we continue to fight to bring light to the plight of individuals that are behind bars even before COVID, we know that there's many individuals who have transformed themselves drastically throughout the years. So many programs behind bars that are allotted to individuals. And what good are those programs if people cannot show the transformation that they've truly made, right? So many of those individuals are the folks with their applications pending for clemency. And so Vocal New York and Freedom Unshackled have been working together for about the last year or so. And we've been working together as partners in these efforts to truly bring our mothers, brothers, sisters, siblings, aunts, uncles, and community members home, and also giving them a chance to show the changes that they've made throughout the years. We truly need this clemency initiative to be put into effect on behalf of the governor, and we truly appreciate everyone's support and are truly honored to be partnered with Freedom Unshackled in this work. So thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be Sam Fine. Sam Fine is a member of the Albany County Legislature.
Thank you, Deborah. And just want to thank everyone who's here. In January of this year, a majority of Albany County legislators signed a proclamation, which I introduced, requesting Governor Cuomo to grant clemency 4 times a year to a minimum of 6 people each time. And I want to acknowledge Merton Simpson, county legislator from the 2nd District, who's here, who was also signed on to that proclamation. And that was a big deal. We got a majority of members to sign on. I think people are recognizing right now that we're in a moment where we really can make change, where we're seeing a lot of change at the state level when it comes to bail reform, ending solitary confinement, police reform bills that make disciplinary records public. People are recognizing the injustices within our criminal justice system, and we're taking action. When we introduced the proclamation, there were 1,800 applications for clemency sitting on the governor's desk waiting to be vetted. We have an incarceration problem in this country. What we do is we respond to issues in our society by locking people up, by more policing, rather than providing people with the services they need and addressing the root causes of crime, addressing poverty, inequality, a lack of resources. And our prison population is also heavily disproportionately people of color. So we have to recognize the racism within our criminal justice system, which makes it even more pressing that we address these issues. I see this in the district that I represent, the impacts of incarceration, families that are torn apart, people with records when they get out of prison who can't get jobs. It causes so much more. It causes not only harm to those individual families, but really to communities and societies as a whole. Means we're spending a lot of money to lock people up that we could be spending on healthcare, on housing, on education, on job opportunities, on so much more that would impact people's lives, make a difference, and prevent crime and actually make our communities safer. So this is unacceptable. This much must end. This is why in the county legislature, we're joining the Freedom Unshackled Coalition and calling for the governor to grant clemency more frequently. We recognize the injustices within our criminal justice system, and we want to use this moment right now when people are calling for change, recognizing racial injustices in our country, and we see legislation moving forward to make sure that we don't stop, and we don't stop until everything that's needed to be done is done that will really address these issues and make a difference in the lives of people in New York. So thank you again. Thank you for all. I want to thank all of the county legislators who signed on to that proclamation, including our chairman and our majority leader. And we're looking forward to moving this forward.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, in our speakers, we have Derek Johnson. He is a member of the Albany Common Council, and he will be speaking next. if you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
So first of all, I want to say thank you to Freedom Unshackled for bringing this to the Common Council's attention. And once it was brought to our attention, if I'm correctly, I believe everybody co-sponsored the bill that I presented. And I just want to talk about, in my own house. My father was taken from our house when I was roughly 4 or 5 or 5 or 6. And my father was fortunate because he was able to represent himself and he was able to beat the charge. So he had an Albany County jail, but stay. And so then moving forward later on in life, my brother, along with 2 other guys, got charged with something that they didn't do. And, they wanted my brother to take a year probation and have a felony, and our family didn't want that for him. So he went to trial and he ended up losing. And so, my brother has a felony for something that he didn't do. And then it's 2 other gentlemen that have felonies for something that they didn't do. And one of the things that's particular about this is one of these guys is in jail. He has 55 years because they charged him as a persistent felon because he has a felony for something that he didn't do. So, it's unfortunate that, people of the mindset that everybody say they're innocent, but, the facts of it is really people in jail for something that they didn't do. And as long as it's one person in jail in that situation, it's a need for us to press on the governor to, to look into these situations and to be mindful that, there's errors in this justice system, big errors, and they tend to play out against the families that look and sound like me. And so for that reason, I will always try to support these type of efforts. And lastly, we have to have people who are speaking up for people who are incarcerated, because a lot of times they don't have anybody. There's a lot of people that's incarcerated that don't have, they don't get visits, they're not getting letters. And so these type of organizations are providing hope for them and addressing issues, because it's sad that you do your time, you feel like you paid your debt for your crime, and then you get out here and you find out you can't move where you want to move, you can't do things that other people are doing, voting, and just living the quality of life that you may have worked yourself up to be able to do. So I think it's important that we speak up and stand up for people who have gotten wrongdoings by the justice system. The justice system isn't perfect, and each day we wake up and you hear about somebody getting out of jail after doing 47 years or 35 years, and my heart just hurts because you can never get that time back. So, I want to say to Ronnie, you are a champion, and I would just ask if you pay attention more of the Ronnie today, and let people figure out about the Ronnie before, because you are working miracles, and it's just a pleasure to know you. Thank you. So when you say 2 minutes, it just makes it's so hard to get all my thoughts in, and I never want to be the person to get told, like, tapped on the shoulder, you're over your time. So, I just want to say thank you once again to everyone that's involved.
You're a good time. We appreciate you coming on, and you're in good time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes. Now that everyone has spoken, I want to let people know that we have the website, and we have the site for the podcast in the chat if people are interested in that. And but we want to open it up to questions right now, especially for the media. We have the if people want to raise their hands, but you can just raise your hand and I can see your hands. Does anybody have any questions? I can see most people, a few people I can't see. Not seeing any hands, or we have the proclamation in the chat. Not seeing any hands. Just know that Ronnie Minter is the assigned person from the Freedom Unshackled Coalition. She is available to the press if you have any questions or comments, and the contact information you have is available. We want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. And we will be hearing from us. We are not going anywhere. We have a lot planned in the future. We have a lot of work to do. This is a very important issue. This issue not only impacts directly those people that represent the stack of clemency applications, but those people who don't even make it that far, those families, those community members, those people who've never thought about this issue, who could benefit from those people who are incarcerated right now, who could be in our community making a positive contribution, who could be here advocating for other people, people who could be teaching our children, people who could be taking care of you in the hospital, and when you're in the hospital, people who could be driving buses, people who could be your neighbors and helping you, who don't have to be incarcerated, and making our communities better communities. And so we want you to, as a member of the Freedom Unshackled Coalition, I speak on behalf of the coalition, we want you to be an ally and a stakeholder and work with us to advocate for people to really gain their freedom in this community. And then when they get out, to be able to fully gain their freedom and to live with a level of economic freedom, educational freedom, and in all that that means. So we do thank you for being here, and we want you to continue to be with us in this fight and in this struggle. So thank you very much. And please share this on social media so other people can see this far and wide. Remember, we're not just a local coalition. We are, as Mark shared with you, we are national. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.